This is my commandment, love one another. I tell you this so that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete. To us, love and joy might not necessarily seem to go together. Sometimes people in love seem to be the unhappiest of all because they become so sad when the one they love is not there. Love and joy? We are reminded perhaps of the words of the old song, "What's love got to do with it?" What does love have to do with me being happy? Yet those haunting words come back to us. Love one another and your joy will be complete. Perhaps it seems that it is money and not love that makes us happy. After all, in difficult economic times, there are a lot of unhappy people. In fact, according to some fascinating recent scientific studies, money does indeed have a lot to do with happiness. Interestingly enough, though, they have found that it's not how much money we take in that makes the difference. What increases our happiness, according to the studies, is the money we give away. A University of British Columbia study shows that those who spend their money on charity and on other people experience a considerable lift in their degree of happiness, whereas those who spend their money on themselves have exactly the same level as before. It is not what we take in, but what we give away that makes us happy. Another study was done at the University of Chicago regarding the happiness of married couples. Yes, there are some happy married couples. What this study showed was that those people who had unselfish love for their partner were the ones destined to be happy. Those interviewed had to answer two questions. The first was, I would rather suffer pain myself than see the one I love suffer pain. Two are false. The second was, I would much rather give up something I want so that the one I love can achieve what he or she wants. True or false. Those who answered true to both of these questions were the same ones whose level of happiness registered the highest. It is in unselfish love of others that our happiness is found. How often do we imagine that what we do for ourselves and what we acquire for ourselves are the things that truly make us happy? Paradoxically, we find it proven that precisely the opposite is true. Human history is full of examples of selfless love. Back in the Elizabethan times, there was a famous courtier, author, and soldier by the name of Sir Philip Sidney. One day on the battlefield, he was badly wounded, and because he was such a high-ranking personage, he was receiving all sorts of preferential treatment. His loss of blood was causing him great thirst. Water was very hard to come by, but somehow they managed to find him a bottle of water and brought it to the dying man. Sir Philip pressed it to his lips, but at that moment he saw another man, a poor, humble soldier who was also badly wounded. This soldier was looking up longingly at that bottle of water. So Sir Philip took the bottle from his lips and handed it to the other man, saying, Your need is greater than mine. He put the welfare of someone else ahead of his own. How often do we see that on the battlefield, but also on the battlefield of life? In 1912, an expedition of British explorers went to the South Pole, led by Robert Scott. On their way back, they were struck by a terrible blizzard and found themselves in very grave danger. One of their number, Captain Lawrence Oates, was so frostbitten on his feet, so filled with gangrene, that he could only walk very slowly. He knew he was holding the others back, so he begged his companions to save themselves by leaving him behind. They refused and insisted on taking him with them. But then in the morning he said, "I'm going outside the tent, and I might be gone a little while." He never came back. He walked away so that his companions could go on and be saved. Unselfish love, putting the welfare of others ahead of our own safety, ahead of our own life. No one has greater love than this, than to lay down one's life for one's friends. What's love got to do with it? Look around at the happiest people you know, and you will find that these are not the people who do the least and care the least and give the least, but rather the ones who look at what they have and give much more than what they really can. Look at those people who are so busy with their own life that they have no time for anyone else. Are they the happy ones? The happiest people I see are the ones who look at their own schedule and see that absolutely nothing else can be fit into it. But when a need comes around, they are the first to volunteer and say yes. What does love have to do with joy? Everything. This is my commandment. Love one another, that God's gift of joy may be yours forever.